Yeah.
Cool. All right. So just as a little intro, welcome guys to this thing that has no name, but it's just a gathering of like-minded music fans here to discuss something that is dear to all of our hearts, and that is the Newport Folk Festival, which is coming up in just under 2 weeks. So we're just gonna sort of like do a little kind of gab, kind of a little bit sort of akin to like what maybe the old podcast that Newport used to do, or the NPR preview that what's his name? What?
Julian Booker.
Yeah. That they used to do, and and just have some fun. So I guess we'll go around and introduce ourselves. My name is Dan Dahari. I am but a fan of music. I am the head honcho of something called Secret Pete, which is like was like a pandemic response to not being able to gather in person. It's like a secret Santa thing that is sort of like trying to done a couple years and is sort of figuring out how to like continually just engage the community of Newport in times when we are not at the fort. That's me. Ryan, you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Ryan Doyon. I have a show on WMFO called Music Savage Show on Friday mornings. I also, like Dan, love music very much. My first Newport was 2014, and I cannot believe it took me that long to actually get to Newport Folk Festival. The main goal, the main attraction at that year was Jack White. Jack White shows up, I'm going to be there. And that was the hook that kept me, just pulled me in to that world, that life, that family. And I haven't looked back, and I cannot wait for this year.
All right. JJ?
And I'm JJ Sheffer. I live in York, Pennsylvania, and I run a bunch of arts and humanities programs, including a music series called Cable House Presents. And my hook, I started going in 2011. I also couldn't believe I had waited so long because that's where I found my people, really.
Yeah.
But I started going because of Middle Brother. It was a chance to see them. I knew that they weren't going to be doing a bunch of tours together because they had their respective bands touring pretty relentlessly. So I said, okay, it's time to finally go see Newport. And now I can't imagine not being there ever. I would drag 2 broken legs to get there.
Same. I hear that in my soul.
I was not expecting that I was going to be the earliest attendee. I didn't say my first year, but my first year was 2009.
Wow.
I went for one day in 2009 because in 2008 my favorite band in the world, the Black Crowes, played, and I was but a poor pauper at the time and could not afford tickets, and tried to win tickets so bad, and it just didn't happen. But I was like, I gotta go. And then the next year, 2009 was the 50th year, and Pete Seeger headlined both nights, Saturday and Sunday. It was pre-Friday shows, and so I went one day, and it was the Decemberists, and that was like they did like this whole like whale thing.
I remember that,
and it was just and after that, the one day I was like, I gotta go, and then 2010, I went there was like 2 days, and and Steve Martin did a Friday concert, and I went
Wow.
to all of those, and then and then since then it's just been constant. And I agree with the broken leg situation. I mean, last year I did have a broken leg. And this year I was just like, I'm debating. I'm like, what are my travel like? My leg is not quite 100% yet, and I'm trying to figure out how I want to traverse.
So you do relate because you are dealing with a leg issue and you are still bringing yourself to Newport.
Exactly.
Rock star.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna discuss this year's Newport, and maybe also a little harken back to the days of yesteryear. But I figured let's start with I feel like it's like the elephant in the room of this year's Newport Folk Festival lineup, and I would say that would be in theory the headliner, although we never know until the lineup comes out, till the schedule comes out. It's a Sunday headliner or Sunday big name is Lana Del Rey, who is I would say was not what you would expect for a Sunday headliner, and but potentially I think very exciting. So thoughts? Anyone want to kick this off?
I'll kick this off because I don't have any strong opinions one way or the other about Lana Del Rey, but I will tell you that in April I went to Highwater Festival for the first time, and Jack Antonoff was playing, or Bleachers was playing. They were with full band, and I was minding my business pretty far away from the stage, getting a popsicle. And I saw a lot of people kind of walking toward the other stage because they only have 2 stages there, and they don't overlap. So you get to hear everything. It's really a cool setup. It's like WXPN Fest in Philly. Anyway, I'm getting a popsicle and I see, people walking toward me during the Bleachers set, headed toward the other stage. And all of a sudden, Jack Antonoff says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Lana Del Rey." And everybody who's walking past me does like a U-turn and starts walking back. Some people sprinting back to the main stage. So I think people will be very excited. And I think, I don't know that it's that unexpected for a number of reasons. The main reason I'd like to throw out there is that nothing should be unexpected at Newport.
Right.
And I love that. I love that we can be open enough to stretch the definition of folk in so many different directions.
Yeah, I agree with that, JJ. I think when we're thinking about Lana Del Rey, we're thinking about somebody that is, I don't know, do you believe like her music transcends the idea of the folk festival in such a way where she's like an enigma, like she's too big for this? And how does someone because I feel like Lana Del Rey is, she is a star, right? She has that quality, and I have to admit to both of you, I know she's been around for, her debut album was 2010, but like you said, JJ, nothing really surprises me anymore at Newport. They could say, Jay could say, "Hey, Daft Punk are getting back together because I asked them to, and they're playing this year," and I'd be like, "Of course they are."
Right. That's why we go.
Yeah, because I mean that's just the power that they have, and so if that were to happen, I'd be like, "Yeah, sure." I feel the same way about Lana Del Rey, and not. I appreciate her music. I'm not a fan. I don't listen to her on a regular basis, but I'm really interested to see the reaction and the how the crowd, like you said, like people turned around when Jack Antonoff said "Ladies and gentlemen, Lana Del Rey." People already know the appeal to her, and is that going to be like I mean, I'm kind of excited to see how the crowd takes this this show in. What do you think, Dan?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely, when you think about it, it's like, she has a lot of pop success, but I think, like going back, like JJ was talking about Jack Antonoff, and he's been someone who's been at the fest in the past couple of years,
Yes.
and has a big connection with Lana. But also, like, Lana, like, she had an album produced by Dan Auerbach,
Right.
of the Black Keys, who's a huge connection to the festival, and I think that would be like, if no one knows. What is nice about Newport is that, like, no matter who comes, like, it's very rare that, like, that it seems like the team there, they have a lot of discussion with the artists, about, like, so the artist cut, like, someone of that caliber knows that, like, Newport is different, like, it's they know that it's, like, not gonna be like Coachella,
Right.
and their set, I think, is going to reflect that in some way.
100%. Yeah.
We don't know yet, but, like, I mean, I think if so people are expecting that the Jack Antonoff relationship sort of to be at the front, but I think if she brought out, like, Dan Auerbach, that would be fucking amazing and so cool.
Do you think that could happen? I mean, you talk about something like surprise kind of things, right? Like Dan Auerbach coming out. I mean, we all know there's surprises coming. We're not going to be, we're not going to go there thinking, oh, there's not going to be a surprise almost every day, right? And so on Lana's new album, it was produced by Jack Antonoff. So is he going to be there? There's that kind of back and forth. And honestly, I don't know. Have you either of you two of her albums that she has? This latest one is very interesting. It's a very interesting album, and I feel like it will work pretty well at Newport. And I think because of this album, because it has Jack Antonoff on it, I think there's the pull. I mean, like you said, Dan, Jack is kind of almost a big part of Newport these days,
right? And John Batista's on it too, right?
Is he?
And
I believe so.
Yeah.
And Father John Misty.
Oh, geez. Well, there you go. You're just reading off big Newport names.
Alumni.
Right.
Yeah. There's of course now. If you think about this album and think about the people you just said, it makes 100% sense that she's here, right? 100%. Yeah.
All right. So we're all in agreement that while we don't know exactly what to expect, expect the unexpected, and it could be amazing.
Exactly, because they know what they're doing, right? And it's gonna,
All right. So next question, I think, just like, who are you most excited to see? Like, who's your top choice? Ryan, start with
man, that's. I'm gonna let JJ take that one first.
All right.
It's interesting. I always have the things I'm most excited to see, and sometimes I don't even end up seeing those sets.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we'll get into that later. But for this year, the lineup is a really great mix of artists I've seen a billion times and artists that I am not at all familiar with. And I love that mix so much. But this year, I think the things I'm looking the most forward to are my friends that are getting to play it for the first time, or for the first time in whatever configuration. So Friday, I think, is Ron Gallo.
Yes.
He's a pal. I first met him when he was still in college and booked his previous band, Toy Soldiers, who ruled.
So great. Yeah.
And have been, watching him grow as an artist, a solo artist. And then Saturday, Huntress and Holder of Hands will be playing as a friend. And then Sunday, Dan Blakesley is graduating from our official busker to, a set on a stage. So I want to be there to support all three of those things, because that's going to feel like magic in a whole different way than some of the other things. So those are probably the things I'm most excited for this year.
Yeah, I love that answer. It kind of defines what, JJ, what how you were talking about that. It kind of defines the Newport appeal and why people like us are so drawn to it. Because we all know people who are in the music industry. We're all friends with people who have played at Newport, or who have bussed at Newport, or who have played side stages. Like I'm very, very fortunate to call a lot of musicians my friend. Very fortunate that I have the talents like that in my circle. And so thinking about that, I'm so fucking excited that Dan Blakesley is playing the main stage on Sunday. Like all of these, like, yeah, I know that like Amy Mann is going to blow me away. I know that I know Alice Fiegenou is going to bring it. I know Angel Olsen is going to destroy it. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait for all of that. I am so excited for Dan Blakesley.
Yep. And I think we're not alone in this. I think that's going to draw a huge crowd. I think it's going to be amazing to watch that and be part of it.
It is. And so he's starting first, right? And it's on a Sunday. And sometimes the crew that we have, it takes a lot to get up and go on a Sunday. We are all ready. We all ready to get up on Sunday at the ass crack of dawn and get down there so Dan Blakesley can see all of his friends standing right there front and center. And that is going to be one of the highlights for me, is to see him up there where I believe, and I think all the three of us believe, Dan Blakesley belongs.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. For anyone who is unfamiliar with Dan Blakesley, he is been the resident busker out there on by the ferry line every year for as long as I can remember.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think in the last couple of years they've moved him inside the gates.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just sort of like just a fixture. He's just a wonderful musician and guy,
Mm-hmm.
who is
the
just
best dude.
He emanates joy on like such a beautiful level. I ran into him last week at the Fleet Foxes up in Portland, and he was outside and he was tired. He was like, yeah, my friend is like out on a kayak and she told me I got to come down here. So I'm down here. I don't know. I don't have a ticket. Let's see what happens. And half an hour later, I see him walking around. He's like, someone just gave me a ticket, And then,
of course.
He's so sweet. Everybody should bring him cookies. I've never met someone who enjoed cookies as much as Dan.
He's one of he's one of the few musicians we've had play at Mondarava, the restaurant that
oh, that's great. Yeah, he deserves everything that's coming his way, and I'm very happy for him. And it's nice that the three of us are on that kind of same page. Definitely.
Yeah, I will say, aside from on the bigger names or smaller, I am very excited to see Angel Olsen back, and I am so excited to see My Morning Jacket as well, because I have not seen them in I don't know, 5 years.
Yeah.
And people are excited, and Los Lobos.
Oh,
50th anniversary tour. Come
the
on,
Los Lobos and Friends set, I think, could be super cool. I think it's awesome to see like Latino music, Chicano music, like up, like getting a spotlight in that way. I'm really, really curious to see who they're gonna bring out as friends.
John McCulley.
More likely.
Definitely there needs to be some La Bamba. But I mean,
they've been together for 50 years, Dan. There's a lot of friends in those 50 years.
It could be any. There's so many cool cats that I feel like they could bring out, and I would be psyched for any and all of them.
Yeah. And that's a good point, Dan, because those are bands and musicians that I am very much looking forward to. As we all know, you can leave one stage and someone that you love and go to see someone that you've never seen before and have your mind blown.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what I'm looking forward to this year. It's the same thing I was looking forward to last year. But yeah, that Los Lobos, Angel Olsen coming back, she's going to destroy it. Those are all good things. Yeah, those are all good things.
And piggybacking on that, don't sleep on the smaller stages, the bike stage, and whatever those little stages. Sir Woman and Their Strings are both slated for those smaller stages, and I love both of them. So I've had a lot of really cool moments, and sometimes it was people I didn't know who they were and just sat down because I happened to be walking past when they started, and they're some of my best memories.
It's magic, right? It's fucking magic. Like when her Hermanos Gutierrez were playing in that little side stage, and then the next year they're playing at the actual festival on one of the stages. Like, oh no, they played a side stage and they played that same year. I'm getting my they were. It was the same year, yeah. But that's the kind of shit that happens, right? Like these amazing artists are going to play these small stages, and you could just be walking by and see that happen.
Yeah.
Good point, JJ.
It's really.
I think that leads into my next question, which is like, who are the if you had to pick a smaller act that like you think people should not miss, who would you pick?
You want to take this one first, JJ?
Well, I'll say small versus large. I don't know who's going to be on what stages, but I'm very much looking forward to Bartees Strange, Danielle Ponder. Like I said, Sir Woman. I think it's so cool that they're finally going to be up there. Kelsey Wilson played with Glorietta in 2018. I think that's going to be super cool. So yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with anything in the lineup, really. That's the beauty of all this, right?
Yeah, that's very true. For me, one of my most favorite bands in the world is playing Newport this year on Friday. And Dan, you probably know who they are. I love them so much.
Who is it? Sorry.
The Vets.
Yeah,
from New Zealand. I love them so much, and I've seen them every single time they've come to Boston. And I am so excited for them to have their first time playing at Newport. This will be their debut. They are such a great band, and I can't wait for them to come out and see the crowd and just have a great time. One of my favorite things about Newport is when musicians or bands make their debut and they first step out onto that stage and they take that all in. Every musician and band that comes to that stage, comes to that area, comes to that fort, they know the history of that festival. They know what they're walking into. They've all done their research. So they know when they take that stage, it's a special thing. And to watch a person or a band do that for the first time is so great. So I'm excited to see the Beths take that and bring a lot of fun and energy to the stage.
I especially love those moments when it's a band that you already know and love and have seen live, and that most of the people under that tent or whatever have no idea what's about to hit them.
Yeah, that's so much fun.
But yeah, Low Cut Connie was one that I was like, I know it's 11 a.m., but like, you don't want to miss this.
Yeah.
And they blew everybody away.
So much fun, JJ, when you've seen that band and you know that person next to you, you're talking to the stranger that's next to you who's now become your friend, and you're talking about how great what they're about to see is, and then you watch their face, and it's that magic.
That's one of my favorite things about this whole thing. Yeah.
Yes, definitely, for sure. I feel like this year is like it's ripe for that, because I feel like there's a lot of, like, I would say, like, maybe smaller bands or bands that like people are less familiar with that could be like I'm like Bella White. I don't know if you guys know her well.
Bella White,
but her songwriting is fantastic, and she's like super young, and she's just like I think her voice sounds years older.
And Bella played at Billsville, right? So like mean, there are people in the know, right? That
Yeah.
know Mellow White, and obviously Newport's in the know, and yeah,
Yeah,
that's not to
I
miss.
think Gabriel's is like an out of the box like
Uh-huh.
set that is like also like
Agreed.
I stumbled upon their record like or like half of their record, I guess,
Yes.
like
Agreed.
6 months ago or something. And I was just like, these guys are cool. And like,
Mhm.
and then when they got announced for Newport, I was like, holy shit. Because I just was not expecting that. And I think I'm really excited to see what their live show is like. For me, I have to tout the I have to recommend the Eastern Medicine Singers
Oh, sure. I mean, look at
with with Jonathan Gatt and
yeah.
Lee Ronaldo. I don't know. Did any of you guys? Did either of you see? They played without Lee. They played with Jonathan at in the museum stage in like 2018,
No.
and
Let's see that.
I had somehow missed it, and I didn't like know that they existed, and then I discovered them. And for everyone, the Eastern Medicine Singers are it's like a drum and chant group from Rhode Island,
Amazing.
uh, of indigenous singers, and Jonathan Gott is this like crazy Israeli weirdo who plays the loudest fucking like metal fuzz guitar.
Sounds incredible.
And like on he plays like a Jimmy Page double neck.
Mhm.
And like so I saw them in like a basement in New York after I like realized what I had missed. I like found the next show and like went, and they're just like, he's so loud and it's over this just like beautiful chanting and drumming. And like they're just like they just like destroy. Like he just like because it's like this, it's like this like otherworldly kind of like bass that like the medicine singers are laying down, and then he comes out and it's just it's just like sonic massacre, and
Wow.
I think I feel like they're gonna be playing like early in the day, maybe
People
opening one of the
get people
stages.
going.
Yeah, and I
Mhm.
think it's just gonna be like, whoa. And then to bring Lee Ronaldo in it, who is also the same kind of guitar player, like has that. Yeah, I'm a big Sonic Youth fan.
Mhm.
So I just think having two like a twin guitars battling over that like bass is gonna be incredible.
That sounds incredible. And you talking about it, Dan, I want to experience that
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
I want to be there and watch that with you.
Yeah. Let's all meet up and watch that together.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
That is going to make me happy. So I can look over and see you. Dan, I'm going to take it off for a second. Just on a side note, another one of my favorite things about Newport is when I spot you somewhere and you're dancing, and I get to experience you experiencing something that you love. It makes me appreciate what I'm watching so much more. And I think a lot of us agree when you look at somebody, especially someone that you adore, and I adore you, Dan. And you watch that person taking something and dancing and having the best time of your life. It enhances your experience, right?
Right.
So, I mean, if you're going to be watching that and dancing around, I want to be part of that. So.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Newport was the first place where anybody ever said something like that to me. It was one of my best friends is James Maple, and he makes a lot of the
James Maple, yeah, come on.
Yeah, a lot of the artist gifts. So when you see those bespoke guitar straps, that's James. He
That is so awesome. Jesus.
Country leather. Well, let's not.
No, I mean his work is
Yeah.
the way the stuff that he does is so talented. It blows
Really
my
is.
mind.
Yeah. So there was one year, I think I was watching John Moreland, maybe somebody I already knew and loved, but when the set was over and I checked my phone, I had a text from James saying, "I love watching you watch music," because I don't when I'm seeing any live show, I am so focused on the music that like even if I came with a group of people, uh, I'm only seeing the music, and
Right.
I get I cry a lot.
Sure.
I make no apologies for this. I'm just
And
somebody
nor
who's
should
unhappy.
you. Yeah.
Right.
There's
And
no apologies needed.
Yeah.
yeah. So James said, like, you're sitting there with nobody you know around you, like bawling your eyes out and
Yeah.
your hand over your heart. And I don't even realize I'm doing it. So yeah, I love watching somebody who I know loves whatever artist is on stage experiencing it. I love being there with them when they're seeing their favorite band. That's such a good point.
So good. Yeah, it's so good.
Hey. What's next? I does anyone have my little prompt sheet? It's on my phone.
Yeah.
I do. I can grab it. Hang on.
Act that people shouldn't miss, or an act that would surprise
I
people.
think we went over, we did that one, right?
Yeah.
Non-musical thing you're looking forward to the most.
Oh yeah.
I think that's good. I think the non-musical thing for me always and forever will be you, like you guys, like friends, right?
Yeah.
That I think you ask any Newport fan, and they're other than the music, the thing that they're gonna say is when they're walking and they see their friend for the first time, and that connection, that is like 10 times out of 10 the best thing about every single fucking day, right? Is like you're walking through and someone you know is coming at you. And then you have that experience of like, yes, and you hug them. It's a sweaty, hot hug, but it doesn't matter. And it's spending time with people that maybe sometimes you only get to see for those 3 days, right?
Yeah.
And it makes it all that much more important. And for me, I have a house. We have the house with Panico, and that house, I've been going there for years, and it's just a bunch of people hanging out and going to the shows, going to Newport, coming back, hanging out. It's the best. And seeing you guys, just seeing your friends. That's the best. It's the best.
Yeah, 100%. And I was just going to say the Hanks. So exactly the same thing. It truly feels like a family reunion every year. There's a group of us. We take over a B&B downtown, and she only rents to people who are involved or like me, just a fan of the festival. And so when we all get into town on Thursday night, we have a big family dinner together, and that's how we kick off everything. And then, it's just nonstop fun people and catching up until the moment we roll out of town. So I really look forward to it. I have a countdown timer on my phone year round. The saddest day of the whole year is when I reset the countdown timer and it's 300 whatever days, and I'm like,
I feel that in my soul, JJ. I hear you.
Yeah. But this time of year, when it starts like getting down, I just feel like I spend the whole rest of my life waiting for this weekend to come back around, and we're almost there. So
almost there.
Yep.
Great answer.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. There's so many different people that I'm like, just like waiting to like hug and see, and like, like get to like high five, like, and that I haven't seen for, a year. And then
a year.
Like,
yeah. And great too. Like it doesn't matter. It's been a year, right? It's just like this, right? Just like this.
Right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Remember last year, Dan, when you were dancing and I just was walking and I saw you dancing, and then we had to dance off, and it was one of my most favorite memories of last year.
Oh,
and
that was so good. It was.
And then Mare caught it on. She has it on the phone, and it was just us. And then the security guy started dancing with us. Come on. Well, that's the best.
Oh man, I can't even wait to. There's like, I met this woman. Her name is Anna. She's one of the security. She does security at the Fort stage. She's like right side. She like came to me like we met during the pandemic year. And she was like, she was like, "Are you an Indian?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, and she's Indian, like she's Narragansett, and we were start talking, and she was like, so cool. And then and then uh and then she doesn't have a cell phone, so she took she gave me her number. She took my number, and then she called me one day, and she was like, I got a voice message on my phone that was like, "You might not remember me. This is Anna from Newport, but like my family, like I got interviewed on like the TV because her great grandfather was the first like indigenous guy to win the Boston Marathon."
Wow.
Like in 1922,
Wow.
or something, you know, like,
remember
and like she just like wanted me to. I was so excited to like get that voice message.
That's so amazing.
Yeah. And
That's so amazing.
and like I just can't wait to see her again.
Yeah.
You know, because and just like, you know, everyone. But yeah, like all the dock people. Like there's this one kid on the ferry dock that like I've watched grow. Like I think he was 7 when I first like noticed him. He's just like, he uses his like those little like wand lighty batons like that they would use on like a tarmac. Like, and he's just like he's just like a master with it, and he's so fun to watch.
I love that. I love the dock people. We're all just one down there. Yeah, and these moments, Newport is always an experience. It's the experience of being with people that are like-minded. It's the experience of being with people that you cannot wait to see again and be part of that experience. Dan, you had made a point, I think, also on that list too. So I'm not sure how much time we have left, but you had asked about like things for newbies, right? Yeah. And I think that's a really important kind of thing to bring up, because there are people who will be their first time, and I'm very envious of those people, right? There are people who are in Experience Newport for the first time this year. And that is a thing, because I'll never forget my first time. And I didn't my first year, I didn't hydrate enough. And I think people can say that to you into your face over and over and over again. and it just kind of blows by you. You don't pay any attention to it. It is 100% legit. The one thing that newbies need to understand is that you need to drink water. and I wish I had listened to that. I didn't start listening to people telling me to do that until like 3 or 4 in. I'm like, what is my problem? I also still wear jeans to Newport, so I don't know what my problem is. But hydrate. And never, another thing, my thing that I tell people is that don't worry about missing that band, because the band you are seeing right now is 100% going to blow your mind.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah,
hydrate and don't worry about missing things.
This was going to be my answer to the tips for newbies is the mantra, internalize that, be present, be kind, be open, be together. It's really important because it's a great way to frame the whole experience. Everything that's happening at any given moment is amazing. You can only be in one place at one time. So when the schedule comes out every year, I allow myself like 24 hours to be sad about the overlaps. And then, you know, I get on with identifying like, this is the stuff I absolutely know I must be there for, and everything else is just going to happen. You're going to end up right where you're supposed to be. Yeah. It's going to be fine. So like kind of being open and sort of letting go and just enjoying everything around you is my advice.
Fantastic advice.
Yeah. And like, don't forget, like, don't be afraid to like, you know, there's a lot going on. Like, don't be afraid. Like, don't be worried about like taking a break if you know, like if it's like, if it's, we don't know what the weather is going to be, but like if it's like 100 degrees, like take 20 minutes and sit in like that little shade tent to like get yourself together a little bit so you don't pass out, you know. Like I think that's like, you know, like it's definitely can easily get overwhelmed by like all the stuff that's going on. So just like just take a minute to chill, you know, like
be kind to yourself.
You're not going to get everything anyways. So like, you know, like just, exactly. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah. Be kind to yourself. Yeah. Because there's a lot of rushing around and you want to see everything. And I'm guilty of that in 2014. My mind was blown. I ran everywhere and what I ended up doing is disappointing myself because I didn't take enough time where I was to soak in what I was doing. And we're all guilty of that. For your first time is just so overwhelming. So you can tell that to somebody and just hope that they understand, and also understand that they may not do it, right? Because it's their first time.
Right.
It's like it's just too much. And it also may be really, really hot. So you gotta
It will be.
Yeah.
And there's also the idea that there are so many different ways to experience this festival.
Mhm.
So many different ways. Like for me, I don't spend a whole lot, most years, I don't spend a whole lot of time at the main stage. There's
Mhm.
some people that never leave the main stage.
There are. That's right. That's
Yeah.
exactly right. Yeah.
There's no
And that's
right or
their
wrong way to
experience,
do it.
right? That's
Yep.
what they're there for. And
Yep.
God bless them. That's what they want. That's excellent, but I love what you're saying. Experience everything, right? If you want to. The experience of the main stage is so different with the what did you say? How'd you call the dock people?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that experiencing, like listening to Paul Simon when I was down there hanging out. It's a whole different experience when you're there and then you walk back up and then you're with the diehards, just kind of having that different experience of people experiencing Newport in another way.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
even
Fascinating.
at the main stage itself has different ways to experience it, whether you're up
100%.
near the rail in the middle of the crowd, you're out at
Mhm.
the pier dock, you're like behind the walkway, just kind of where all the
Mhm.
pets are. It's very different in all those spaces.
Mhm.
No less reverent in any of them, but it's a
Right.
different thing. So being open to trying sort of different ways to figure out what you enjoy the most, or what you enjoy the most based on your relationship with the artist and
Mhm.
how close you want to be or far away you want to be.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, agreed. I think you'd also asked about Dream Acts, which is a really tough question, Dan. I mean, that's a really tough question.
So I think there's you can divide it into two though, right? You can divide it into like white whales, like people like that, that getting them to come would be like a huge deal to every.
Like
And then
Springsteen.
Yeah, exactly. Springsteen,
Yeah.
Neil Young.
Yeah.
Neil Young. We'll just say Neil Young 3 times and then I'll appear. And then but then just other bands, just sort of bands that you love and would love to see how they do, how they embrace I would love I know Ben Harper's been there and he was there with Charlie Musselwhite, but
Mhm.
I would love to see him with the Innocent Criminals there. I would love to see that because I love that band.
Mhm.
And I think they would do awesome there. I think he's he gets it, for sure, or I've always wanted, there's a thing, every time they put out a thing that's who do you want next year? I always put Kid Koala, DJ, because I think he's people think maybe not the typical Newport actor, but I've never seen someone who feels like music the way the way he interprets melody, and it's not he thinks about so many things that you wouldn't think about a hip hop DJ being, and I think he can do just I think he would be he would know how to construct a set that was gonna shine and pay homage to what Newport is and the importance of that. And I think that would be so fun to watch.
Right.
And so fun to experience.
Yeah, and you say you hitting on the nail on the head with paying homage to what Newport is all about. I completely agree with you. I think you are right in that statement. I think they would bring it. You would bring it. My big thing was this is the 2023 is the 50th anniversary of hip hop. it started August 11th, 1973. With DJ Kool Herc and playing a party, and then all of a sudden there's a movement right out of that. I would love to see, just some old school. I mean, we have the Roots. The Roots last year were so incredible. I would love to see like a hip hop collaboration with the Roots. Embracing the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and you could bring anybody in, and they're going to embrace the Newport, idea, the idea of it. I would just love that, and maybe they're going to do that eventually. The Roots were hands down one of the funkiest, most incredible dance parties I've ever had at Newport, and I loved it. And I sweated my ass off, and I loved every minute of it. I think the white whale for me would be to have REM get back together, because that would just blow my mind. Michael Stipe said it's never going to happen, but Jay Sweet kind of makes miracles happen. So, I think I would like to see. There's a band that I like to see. There's a band, I'm sure you guys know them, the Nude Party.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think they would be.
Oh, they're fun. Yeah. They haven't played Newport?
I don't think
I
they
thought-
if
I
they
thought
have,
they
I
did.
missed. Did I miss the Nude Party?
Either that or maybe they were on the docket for, like, Rainbow Kitten Surprise was supposed to be there in 2020, and then 2020 didn't happen. So maybe the Nude Party was on that schedule. I
I'm
think they
looking that up
played,
now.
I think they played there.
They're not showing up on the Wikipedia page,
Okay.
which I think is pretty complete.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Whether they have or they haven't, I
don't see
support
them.
the suggestion. I think that
Thanks.
crowd would love it.
They would
Yeah.
bring it.
Yeah, for sure.
What would you think, JJ?
I'm going to start out by saying this, and I think there's some, not necessarily controversy, but there's some story I'm unaware of that I would love to be privy to. Why hasn't Guster ever played Newport? It's like a whole thing. And every year when they say, like, tag your favorite artist in social media and whatever, I tag Guster, and they're like, no, listen, we want to play. We want to be there. And they're largely based in, got their start in Boston. A lot of them live in Vermont, so they're not far away. So I think, I don't have any conspiracy theories, but I think there's something more to that. Somebody isn't a fan or something. I think they would be wonderful there. And then the other people that I recommend every year, newest ones would be Pom Pom, which is J. Roddy Walston's current band. They are so good live. So much fun. So
J. Roddy Walston's amazing.
Oh God, I love that guy. So them, GA20, who are based in Boston,
GA20.
Providence.
Yeah.
They're like kind of
Great.
local-ish.
Great suggestion.
Rachel Sumner and Traveling Light would be great. They're more folky,
Also
but
Boston.
also out of Boston. And then Ward Hayden and the Outliers, one of my favorite bands ever, and I think they would kill it at Newport. And they're all sort of local too. The one that every year since I've been going, anytime anybody asks, for us to fill out surveys or whatever and say who we want there, I say Vinegar Creek constituency. They're a string band from Lancaster County, which is maybe half an hour from me, and they're legit one of my favorite bands. Their lead singer is one of my favorite songwriters, not just locally, but like period favorites. And I think Newport the crowd would eat it up, would love what they do.
I love that.
So I have a whole list. I'm sorry, I couldn't.
So do I.
Yeah.
So do I. Those are just three of my thoughts. I mean, we could literally be on here all night and talk about who should be playing Newport. I mean, hands down. So
Do you guys know Skyway Man?
Yeah, he toured with Langhorne Slim a few years back.
Yeah. I think he would be awesome. He's also like another like Twain. He's got like a very Twain vibe. But I think he would be awesome. And I was really hoping that these guys would get and be there this year. But have you guys heard the Scott McCricken album? Do you know Scott McCricken is
in the ever expanding?
Yeah. Scott McCricken from Dr. Dog put out a solo album this year, and I I'm in love with that album.
Oh, so are we talking about his work with the Ever Expanding, or does he have a solo album?
No, with the Ever
With the
Expanding.
Ever Expanding?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Which
that album's fantastic.
Yeah.
Steve actually turned me on to that. And I love Dr. Dog, but he's like, Ryan, you need to listen to this.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, it feels like early Edward Sharp,
Yeah.
like a little more like it's like chaos, but like
No, it's
held
great.
together by like a net.
Yeah.
You know, like everything is just going everywhere all the time.
Chaos held together by a net. That is poetry, Dave.
You know, speaking of music that Steve Benoit has turned us on to,
Steve is the man.
everybody needs a Steve. And I feel like the people that go to Newport regularly, like we are that person in other people's lives who they turn to and say, what should I be listening to?
Yeah.
So Steve is like that person to music heads. So it's a whole other level. But Steve and also Anthony Mulcahy, the photographer,
Of course.
both turned me onto Matt Susich, who has since, I've seen him a bunch of times live now, and he played my series last year. He was our season closer with a really great band. I think he'd be really well received at Newport as well. He's just really a great songwriter in sort of like a Dylan-y sort of poetic lyricist sort of way. So I'm going to add that to my
your ever expanding list.
Wish list, yeah.
Did we miss anything on the list?
I don't think so. I think your list was pretty great. What do you think?
Yeah.
I have one more thing I want to add about the people and the community that has coalesced around this in this iteration since the three of us have started going. We're in kind of the same era of Newport. This year, I know what it was. You had asked about after show tickets, and the reason that all the after shows looked awesome, and I was sort of nervous about like, how do I even pick which one to try to get tickets for? And then it turned out that they went on sale the day before I got paid, so I couldn't get tickets for any of them. It took, the stress out of the choice, which is fine. But it got me thinking. I'm a foundation member. I always renew my foundation membership on site so that I can get access to that early bird ticket sale. And I give an additional monthly, very small, but gift to the foundation as well, like a recurring gift. I recommend everybody do that and support what they're doing. But the ticket on sale did not coincide with when I was going to have the money to get the ticket. And a couple of my folk fam friends who I ride the ferry with in the morning, and we don't see each other any other time, but those 3 days out of the year, caught wind of the fact that I was not going to be able to get my tickets during the pre-sale. And they took up a collection and Venmo'd me and said, pay us back when you get paid. You can't not get tickets. And for me, like, it was humbling. And it was also like, this is what Newport is to me. This is people looking out for each other and making sure that you can get where you need to be and be part of it. And I don't take that lightly. I think that's just, such a good illustration of why I love it there and why it feels like family.
For sure. Yeah. Well, I know the similar thing happened to me last year is that I really, really wanted to go to that Marcus Mumford show. And I did not get tickets. And Nick Morales, who heads the Newport Facebook group, was just like, we're getting Dan in. And like, for 3 days, I'm also like, but it was through his perseverance that like, he found someone, like anytime anything that would pop up, like anywhere, someone would be like, I might have an extra to the Mumford show. He'd be like, Dan Dahari. And and got me in. And like 4 other people, so it wasn't just me, and so
and the COVID year, or the first year back when it was split into 6 days. And so I got tickets for the first 3, and then the schedule came out and Middle Brother was going to be playing on Monday, and I got tickets for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I was like, oh shit, they're the whole reason I started. Like, they're what connected me to this community in the first place. And before I even had a chance to ask, like, does anybody want to trade today? 3 different people messaged me, and my friends Tim and Melissa were like, you have to be there that day. You can have our extra ticket to make sure that I could be there. So like, not only do we look out for each other, we know, like, I know who each of your favorite bands are.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? It's just remarkable.
That I think is that what you're saying, what you say and what you're saying, Dan, that's Newport. That is Newport Folk Festival. Those things that you just said, it's not the bands, it's not the 3 it's those experiences and your people knowing. Like my favorite band is Wilco. And when Wilco played, and when Jeff Tweedy played, Steve knows how much I love Wilco. And Steve took care of me. He made sure that I saw Wilco where I needed to be. Steve is great. And he knows how much that meant to me, putting me up in those rafters and watching, and then seeing Billy Bragg come out and do some Mermaid Avenue shit. You guys have to understand how special that was to me. And Steve knew that, you know, and he put me up there so I could witness that. That is one of the best things, when your friends know what you love and will go out of their way for you. That is Newport. That's the overarching thing that Newport, we all take care of each other, and it's something that we never forget. Right? We never forget those moments. So I cannot wait to create more moments like that. And JJ, we know each other kind of just off these videos, and just because of the work that we do, I can't wait to kind of get to know you even better. You know, and Dan, I can't wait to see you again. And you know, and thank you for putting this together, and talking about this with you guys is just so great.
We should do this every weekend.
Yeah.
So great.
And I'm gonna hug the shit out of both of you when I see you.
It's so great. This is, I mean, I've been looking forward to this. Like, I want to talk to some people about things, there's something I love, which is Newport music, and you guys understand that, and that's how these conversations become so like cathartic, I guess. Like, you know, you're just gonna spill it all out there, and but this is
we're definitely gonna have to do like a wrap up after the festival.
Let's fuck yeah,
Are either of you doing jazz?
No, I know you are though.
When I grow up, I'm gonna go up and stay for both.
I want to say that too, but I don't know when I'm gonna grow up. So
I've only recently, like jazz, I've only been 2 years. I went the pandemic year was my first year, and then it was like you go once and it was just like, oh man. And so I don't have a place to stay or tickets this year yet for jazz, but like I just know in my heart that I'm gonna be there.
That's the thing.
So I'm just gonna like will it into existence.
And you didn't have them yet, Dan. They're coming.
Because I'm just like J-Rad and Kamasi Washington together. That's going to be insane. That Arouge off top. We're going to talk about jazz now. But I'm so excited. I'm so excited for both. All right. Well, I think this is a good place to end it. Just as a light note, do you guys have like a jam of the summer that you guys have been listening to? And if so, what is it?
Oh man. Right now for me, it's Deer Tick's Forgiving Ties, which is just such a goddamn great song. I love that song so much, and I play the hell out of it.
Yeah, I think the one I've been playing the most often lately, that's my like jam, throw the windows down and scream along, is a song called Out on Bail by Pom Pom. They're releasing
that's a good song,
one single at a time, as I think they're
I haven't heard any of their recorded stuff yet.
That's my favorite. That's also my favorite song that they play live too.
Great. I love that.
I'm trying to think. I asked this question and I should have had my answer prepared. And I can't look at my phone to see like most played songs. I mean, I've been pretty big on that Jenny Lewis album.
Oh, the Jenny Lewis album is great. I just saw her last night.
I know. I missed you. I tried to get 2 shows in one night
I
last
know. I
night.
heard the story. Yeah,
And I was,
Jenny Lewis is her new album. That Doyon is a summer.
yeah.
It's a block. I love that album. It's a blockbuster. I'm gonna call it a summer blockbuster.
Yeah. So
He's great.
I'll say that, and then I'll say, I'll leave it. It's gonna come to me as soon as we're done. I'm gonna be like, no, this is really my band.
Thanks for putting this together, Dan. I really
guys.
It's really
guys,
Nice talking to me, guys.
What's the timer say, JJ? How many days and minutes do we have?
It says, you see this.
Look at that. Look at that.
That's till the festival, but I have to subtract 1 day for when I actually get into town. So 10 days to go.
Yeah.
Are you guys going? Are either of you guys going to be at Newport's Eve?
I wish.
No, not yet. I mean, I'm going to be down there Thursday. But the thing about it is that you never know what's going to happen.
You never know. True.
You never know. Will Mavis show up? Because I love Mavis. Is she going to show up? Maybe. Because Newport and Mavis go hand in hand. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. It's nice to see you too. Dan, thank you so much for putting this together.
Yeah. Thank you guys both for
sharing
coming. And all right. See you in 11 days. And
see you guys in 11 days.
I'll have big hugs for you.
Yes. Love it. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.